I'm sitting here with a longtime friend, Ron Ehlert, and we're going to talk about black powder and flintlocks, I guess, primarily. Ron, tell us how you got started in all this.
Well, like so many others, probably, I was influenced by the Disney Davy Crockett series back in the 50s. And that spark never went away. And in the 70s, I got hooked up with some people that I found out were building these guns again. They were shooting them. They were reliving history and so forth. And I got into it pretty heavy in the late 70s. Became a member of the NMLRA in 79 and haven't stopped doing it since. Built my first rifle from scratch in 79 and I just fell in love with it, and due to economics, working for other people, especially automotive related, it seemed like there were always layoffs and nothing steady. So
Yeah.
in '84, I decided to make a full-time go at it, and haven't been out without a day's work since.
Now, you're a transplanted Michigan guy, is
I
that right?
moved from Michigan in '81 down to Tennessee,
Okay.
and have not regretted it.
Okay. Is Michigan where the automotive
Yeah.
aspects came
Yeah.
in?
I mean, you could be a ditch digger, and if the automotive industry isn't any good, people can't afford
No.
to get ditches done.
Yeah. Yeah. So start building guns in Michigan and headed for, what is it? Is it Duck River, I
Duck
think?
River, Tennessee.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's cool.
I live out in the country, 31-acre farm. My neighbor to the east is the Natchez Trace Parkway,
Oh, cool.
so I don't get a lot of traffic except on Saturdays and Sundays. The Harley Davidson groups go
Okay.
up and down, but
Yeah.
that's all.
Yeah, we can live with that. When you talked about building guns full time, that's from the time you moved to Tennessee. That's when you started the full time aspects.
Well, I moved in '81, and in '84 I
Okay.
decided to go full-time in gun making.
You've been full time 20, 30 years.
Yep.
Something like that.
Yep.
There's gorgeous pieces hanging on the wall in here, and I was going to ask you if there's any particular style of black powder rifle that you like above all others.
Well, I started out, loving the long rifle, and I still do. But as one's talents improve and so forth, I've done it to myself. With every new gun that I make for myself, I try and present a new challenge, and the challenge would ultimately lead towards European style guns. I've made some very nice English firearms, smooth bores and rifles, and the ultimate, I would say, would be the German
Okay.
artistic end of it. And
That brings us to this beautiful thing hanging over here on the wall, the chiseled barrel and all that. Folks, you got to see this thing to believe it. I'll include a picture of that thing with the interview. What was the motivation to do that? Just
well, I about 3 years ago, I got a job to restore an original Jaeger. Someone had restored it previously, and they restocked it. They restocked it in American black walnut,
okay.
and they didn't have too good of carving capabilities, and they got it done, but it was a poor job, and they painted on their finish, and it just really, the stockwork was just a mess. But the hardware was still pristine.
It deserved better.
It was gold gilt hardware, just like on this represented, and there was still 95 to 98% gold gilt in place. It had not been abused. The barrel was originally burnished bright,
Mm-hmm.
and was still bright. No corrosion, but the wood was just a mess. So I restocked it, and I did it appropriately, and I gave it a little age, and made it a pristine package again. But I just had never seen one quite of that quality before. So that was my inspiration
Okay.
for a new challenge. Now I knew I could, excuse me.
Yeah, right here. Okay.
Well, I knew that the brass hardware was available directly cast off of original pieces, but the barrel and the chiseled lock was something I had to do, and I've never done it before. And I says it's time for that challenge. So because it's for myself, I had to allot certain times to do it because I still had to make a living.
Mm-hmm.
But once I got started chiseling the lock, I couldn't stop. I didn't feel comfortable stopping because it's one of those tedious jobs that if you get going in a pattern or a rhythm,
Mm-hmm.
it's best to stay with
Yeah.
it. So the lock took me 3 weeks
Okay.
to do, and I was very happy with the results.
It's a
And I had to
beautiful
wait
thing.
1 year before I could get time to do the barrel, and I sat down and started on it, and the same rhythm had to be kept,
Okay.
and that took me 4 weeks.
Okay.
And a year later, didn't get to it again before that, but a year later I put it into a piece of wood and started the shaping and so forth, mounting of all the hardware. And now I'm in my 4th year and I'm just getting it carved.
I think that's neat. I should say I've been down here looking at that same rifle probably 4 years in a row,
Mhm.
and looking to see what's new on
What's
it.
new.
So I think it's a cool thing. Yeah, I want to make sure before we leave we get a picture of the lock and the barrel chiseling to get that included. Is it done right now, or do you still have more to go?
No, the reason you're looking at the left side of the gun is because the right side isn't carved yet.
I see. Okay.
And my intent is to go whole hog with it and install some gold wire inlay in places and make it truly a good representative of the high art of the German
Neat.
German-speaking lands, you might say,
Okay.
gun culture.
Yeah. Well, another thing that I know you do beautifully are powder horns. You want to talk a little bit about making powder horns or how that works?
Well, powder horns is a very good alternate thing to do if you have to make a living.
Okay.
I mean, I try and diversify where if I work for several months on a rifle, when I'm through with that, I'm kind of burnt out temporarily
Okay.
on rifles. So it's nice to have a powder horn to make or something else. And so I enjoy working in powder horns. I enjoy studying the originals, and when asked, I like to reproduce the scrimshaw and decorated designs. So it's just another way of keeping interest alive and again doing something different.
Okay. One of the things I noticed too is that I can go on the internet and buy videos that help me learn from you how to make rifles or make powder horns. That's a fairly, within the last 5 years?
Yeah.
You've done that?
Yeah.
I think that's a cool thing.
That was pleasurable, and sitting here at Friendship and having people walk by and say, I've got your video, and man, you helped me a lot, and I like the way you teach things, and man, I mean, that's just really good compliment.
Oh, yeah. I think that's and so many guys, and me included, if I sit at home and try to figure something out, you know, I'm a real disadvantage when I can watch a guy like you, show me on the screen how to do that.
Well, I appreciate that.
And I know you've been down to the Bowling Green seminar.
Mm-hmm.
You want to say anything about your experience down there, or how many years you've been?
Well, I was first a student
Okay.
down at Bowling Green. It was 91 or 92, I believe. I took a class under Linton McKenzie to help me in my engraving.
Okay.
And because of years of experience doing different things, I was asked to come back the next year as an instructor to teach a powder horn course,
Okay.
which no one had ever taught there before. So I've been there ever since, and have done many projects, primarily because of my background.
Mm-hmm.
The powder horns, the European stuff.
Mm-hmm.
The German Jaeger was a multi-year project.
Mm-hmm.
We've done Fowlers, American Fowlers. A couple years ago I taught various European techniques of doing things that were decorative.
Okay.
For instance, horn nose caps, sliding wood patch boxes with metal escutcheons and decoration. Something a little bit above the American long rifle type situation. And it was just a great class.
Oh, sounds like it.
And the students that attend down there are wonderful. I mean, they're dead serious. They pick up everything that you try and give them, write it down.
Yeah. It's a joy to teach somebody who really wants to learn, isn't it?
I've got one student from California that attends several of my classes, and when I get into a multi-subject lesson, he writes notes. He keeps notes and he sends them to me after he's all through.
Oh, that's cool.
Very nicely written, and I can use them as a lesson plan.
Yeah, yeah. I think that's excellent.
Yep, and it's a wonderful facility, and wonderful students, like I say, and just have a great time.
Okay. I was down somewhere between 88 and 91, I think, piddling with stuff. I rapidly found out that I didn't have any talent for making guns, but it did make me a student of the flintlock as far as study is concerned. I really admire you guys who can do each of the phases. And I might add, a person like you must be an extraordinary resource for the seminar down there, because you could you can teach anything down there, you know.
Well, we all the instructors down there are very versatile.
Yeah.
But I've been very fortunate that I guess you might say I have a few groupie students that they come to me year after year with ideas of things they'd like to be taught.
Yeah.
Which just so happens sometime I've tried it, done it, been successful, and so from one year to the next, I pretty much know what the subject's going to be.
That's cool. Let me ask the question about instruction another way. If you could teach at Bowling Green anything you wanted, if you could pick your favorite, what would it be?
That's a very hard question.
You like it all?
I have, probably in the 14 years I've been there, I've probably taught 8 to 10 different subjects, and every one of them has been wonderful.
Cool.
I'd be willing to do any one of them over again.
Ron, I see you're vice president of the National Muzzleloading Rifle Association. I can tell by your badge. Tell me a little bit about the organization and how you work with that.
Well, I've been a member of the association since 1979. I've been on the board of directors for 11 years. I serve now as second vice president on the executive committee. I have my primary responsibilities in that office is education. And they felt that that's a good place for me because I do the education at Western Kentucky. This summer I went to Colorado and taught at the state college out there for 3 weeks. And I believe that if we're going to keep this sport going, we need to educate as many people, doesn't matter the age, about the tradition and about safe handling of firearms and so forth. And so that's primarily what I'm doing. I established the fundraising to construct an educational building on the grounds here, which someday will be hopefully busy 36 weeks out of the year.
Oh, that'd be cool.
With every and all kinds of early American craft demonstrations, education, and so forth. And I'm also in charge of the scholarship program for the National Muzzleloading Rifle Association. So
you envision the purpose of the organization isn't just for a week to 10 days in the spring or a week to 10 days in the fall. Then you want to see.
I envision that the NMLRA is just not a shooting club. I believe in the history involved in the muzzleloading end of it, and I want to try and pass along as much of that as I can and see that the whole association follows in that direction.
Okay, that's cool. I hope it works out that way.